Here is a chart, and on the top are sections for cost, operating expenses, and net profit. On the bottom is the selling price, which ideally will cover the cost, operating expenses, and net profit. The break-even point is here, where the selling price covers the cost and operating expenses, and any selling price greater than this will result in a profit, and anything less than this will be a loss. Any loss that is less than the operating expenses is an operating loss, and any loss that is less than the cost will be considered an absolute loss. And here are the formulas for each of these on the screen. Now we're going to go through two examples, one resulting in a loss and one resulting in a profit. Let's say that a retailer sells a tablet for $360. It is marked down 30%. The cost of the tablet is $260, and operating expenses are 20% of cost. What is the operating loss, and what is the absolute loss? To answer these questions, we need to know the markdown amount, the reduced price, or reduced selling price, and the operating expenses amount. Starting with the markdown amount, the formula to calculate the markdown amount from a percent is the markdown amount equals the original price times the percent of markdown. So we have $360 times 30%, or 0.3, which equals $108. For the reduced price, we use the basic formula for markdown, which is reduced price equals the original price minus the markdown amount. So we have $360 minus $108, which equals $252. Now for the operating expenses amount. Since the operating expenses are 20% of cost, to find the dollar amount of operating expenses, we multiply the cost amount times the percent of cost, which is $260 times 20%, or 0.2, and this calculates to $52. Let's look at this visually as I put this in a chart. The break-even point will be here, $312. The cost of $260 plus the operating expenses of $52. We have a reduced selling price of $252, which is less than the break-even point and even less than the cost of the tablet. The formula to calculate the operating loss is operating loss equals the break-even point minus the reduced selling price. So we have $312 minus $252, which equals $60 as the operating loss. And the formula to calculate the absolute loss is the cost minus the reduced selling price. So we have $260 minus $252, which equals $8 as the absolute loss. And that answers the questions. Now let's take a quick look at profit. We're going to use the same numbers as the last example, but this time the markdown is 10% instead of 30%. Doing the calculations, the markdown amount will be $36, the reduced price will now be $324, and operating expenses will still be $52. And the break-even point remains the same at $312. Here is a chart showing this visually. So to calculate the profit, it is the reduced price minus the break-even point, $324 minus $312, which equals $12 as the net profit for the tablet at a 10% markdown. Alright my friends, hopefully you got something out of this video. I do have more videos right there for you. Till next time, I am out of here.